Bam! Jayson Waller here, True Underdog. Unleash the power within. Today, we've got a special guest with us joining us to talk about overcoming objections, struggles in life, how to overcome adversity, how to stay motivated to get from point A to Z in your goals in life. So today's guest with us is Zach Darrow, chairman of Darrow Everett LLP. How are you, Zach?
Good, Jason. Thanks. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So this Saturday morning here, weather's kind of cold here in Michigan. Where are you located at today?
Miami Beach. Sorry to make you jealous.
Oh, no, dude, nobody wants to live anywhere where it's 80 degrees every day. We tell people this all the time, right, Roberto? I mean, nobody likes that stuff. No. So I do have a question. So real quick, what does Esquire mean? What the hell does that mean? I see on your email here, it's Zachary G. Darrow Esquire. What does that mean? I don't know, and I apologize. I didn't go to college.
Let's keep it simple. It means about $500 an hour more than you'd otherwise have to pay me.
Got it. I better go find somebody if they're paying a bill real quick. So, listen, you run a very successful law firm, and you're in multiple states, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, and Florida. And I know you lived here in Michigan for a while as well. We've done some business together. We're also friends. You've got a great story. You know, you're a great father, a great business owner, a great person, a great friend, and you've overcome some struggles in life. And, you know, you really show people how to overcome adversity and how to be strong. And you're a highly motivated, high energy guy. It's hard for me to find folks that are like me that have high energy. You're one of the few I know that do, and that look at things, you know, the glass half full and not half empty. But tell us a little bit about your firm real quick. How successful is it? What's going on with your firm?
Well, it's kind of like saying, how great are you at? I'm very proud of it. It is successful. Thank you for the kind words. We operate all over the country and internationally. We predominantly focus on transactional work, private equity, finance, complex litigation. But we still pretty boutique-y. Like you mentioned, the offices in 4 different states, and we serve great clientele, predominantly ones with complex business needs, and very similar to a lot of things you have your hands into. That's why we're side by side with you. But a little over 30 lawyers. About 75 employees, and been going strong for about 13 years now.
Well, bam, that's exciting. So, most people don't like attorneys, me included. You're a likable guy. Most people are like, dude, an attorney? Like, really? But, you're not the type of attorney that really rubs people the wrong way. You're obviously for, pro-business, pro-litigation that help folks out. You're not out there, streamlining, chasing ambulances or anything like that. No offense to those attorneys that do. Look, everybody's got to eat, but, that's not your business, correct?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty well known as being an attorney that also dislikes attorneys. And I guess it is just like the stereotypes and the ones that everybody kind of rolls their eyes at. We're more business advisors than anything, but what we advise on is how to navigate the complex, legal environment we live in today. It's inevitable. We have to deal with them. We need to comply with, all the various laws and navigate when those try to use them against us. But no, we're not that the prototypical joke of lawyers. That's not us.
All right. Well, thanks, Zach. Well, okay. So you were raised in Queens, New York, and born in New Jersey. Your childhood, obviously you're successful now, but it wasn't like that growing up. Why don't we kind of start a little bit from the beginning so the listeners out here can understand, what does it take to really overcome some things and your vision to get there? So let's talk about some of the struggles at an early age. How was it like being Zach growing up?
Yeah, it's very different than it is now. I guess one thing I tell my kids, I'm grateful because without the struggle, I definitely wouldn't have the drive. But yeah, my dad passed when I was an infant, split between his family, spending some time in Queens, New York City, and my mom tried to give us a better life and moved us out to southern New Hampshire. A bit of a tough time out there too. My mom struggled after my father passed away. Just kind of finding her center. And, my dad's family had their own idiosyncrasies too. So, back and forth, between the two very different environments, being an Italian Jewish kid from New York City and southern New Hampshire, wasn't always the most welcome personality there. And, topped it off with a good dose of some learning disabilities. It wasn't very easy, And
well, let me interrupt you there. Talk about, and I apologize about your father being deceased when you were an infant, and I see that in some of the notes here. So I'm glad that you brought that up. What was that like? And then let's talk about the learning disabilities as well.
Well, it was tough. It was tough because when you're a young boy like that, you do one of two things typically. One, you lash out and blame the world, or two, you constantly look for that replacement. I went the latter. I was at first tried to look for replacements, and unfortunately, my mom found herself in a long-term relationship with an abusive alcoholic. So then I went to the lashing out. So in school, they couldn't quite balance. Is this kid just lashing out, or does he have some challenges in his ability to learn? And it did. I had obviously attention, ADHD, attention hyperactive deficit disorder, on top of a fine motor disability. So to be candid, they brought me in high school, and they asked me about considering trade school because they thought college wasn't going to be an option for me. So it was a strange ride early on.
So when you had that going through, and I know you're in high school, so that's not too long ago. We're around the same age. I'm going to give you a few more years than I am, but what was that like? Like they told you, college isn't in the cards. You have a learning disability. You probably won't graduate high school. We want you to go to a trade school. What did that do?
It was honestly a pivotal moment because I was what you'd expect, the quintessential angry kid, with the bad experiences growing up. So instead of getting angry in a negative fashion, and I don't know why, and I honestly couldn't tell you what to attribute it to, I got angry at that. I felt was a desire for folks to hold me down and keep me back and tell me what I couldn't do. And, despite this learning disability, I went home from that moment. I don't know why. I don't know how. But, all the way through the rest of high school, college, and law school, there was a couple of B's. But, everything else was A's. I just put my head down and said that you're not going to tell me my destiny. I'm going to tell you. And, I don't know how it happened. I can't explain it scientifically, but I just kind of harnessed everything and made sure I focused and did well.
Kind of like a chip on your shoulder. You feel backed into a corner and you want to write your own map type thing?
100%, Jason. I didn't do it because I felt like, I'm smart enough to do it. It was a chip on my shoulder. It was really to spite them. It actually wasn't because I had this great yearning to learn. It was just like, oh, really? Let me tell you, not you tell me.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, we talk about that. I was talking to a buddy and business partner today, Ben, and, we had an issue this weekend. I kind of lost my cool on an ex-employee who left and's trying to open his own business. And, the best punishment for him is for us to continue to be successful and him to watch from the outside. When he wins is when I get pissed off and I decide to go live on Instagram and start blasting people. You can't start a business like this. And I start losing my cool, which I did because I'm human and I shouldn't do stuff like that. But the best dose to prove people wrong is to use it like you did as motivation and a drive and a chip on your shoulder. Like, it's really, now it's not about if I can do it. It's how I'm going to do it and how soon I'm going to do it, right?
All day. It gave me the opportunity, too. It was the first time in my life, and then I've learned the lesson many times along the way. In general, if you have that energy that you referred to in the beginning of this conversation, so many people don't, and it becomes evident. And I know you've heard me say it before. Very early on, I learned that, success is rented, absolutely not owned. And as you know, Jason, rent's due every day, brother.
That's right.
Every single day. And I didn't, at that young age, when I started to run at that pace that I see you run at every day, I realized the rest of the world seemed to be kind of crawling around me, but not moving at that pace. So really, honestly, it was the first time I figured out that I may not be the smartest, but, the effort, the drive, the desire, it's just something that you have or you don't, and you can't learn it.
No, I agree 100%, and that's great. So you go to college, you graduate college, and then it looks like you get a job as a real estate director for CVS Pharmacy while you're still getting your lawyer degree, or was that right after?
That was right after. My first job out of law school, I went to work at CVS. At the time, it was about a fourth of the size of what it is today, but it was still a real great launching point of my career. Instant Rolodex, working at a Fortune company and learning from the best, even though I was a little rough around the edges.
So let's talk about that. So you leave that, you go into opening. It looks like you did VP of Midwest Real Estate. You kept into the real estate side of the business, and you became a partner at a large firm at 27 years old. So basically, you became an owner of your own business or a partner in that at 27 years old, just fresh out of college, right?
Yeah, law school. Yeah, same type
That's
of
what I
thing.
meant. Law school. Esquire. That's why Esquire's there, dude. I don't know. High school and that was it for me, brother. But dude, yeah. So explain that. So you fresh out of law school, which is longer than college and harder, and then into that, correct?
Yeah, no, it was the same. It was the same type of thing. When I went to first, I got a job. To be honest with you, because of the first person in my family to actually have any kind of professional degree. I couldn't talk to anybody about what it's like to take the bar exam. So CVS was a safe position for me because it was business. Little did I know that an attorney with a business background is 10 times the attorney. So it turned out to be good. But then when I went to practice law, like you, I want to run, I want to charge. If there's an extra few hours in the day, no better time than now to get more things done and try to accomplish more. And when I went to the first law firm I was at, and I said, look, you bill me like a partner. My book of business is one of the largest in the whole firm. It's time for me to be a partner. And they said, we can't make a partner as young as you. We have parity issues. And they thought I was going to get into a debate with that.
Parity issues, like because of your age?
Yeah, because they said we don't want every 26-and-a-half-year-old guy coming up with a book of business to want to be partner. Granted, we don't supervise your work. We bill you as a partner. You make as much revenues as almost all the partners here. We don't want to open up that can of worms, that Pandora's box. So they thought I was going to get into an argument. I walked out of the office, and by the end of the week, I had 3 offers at 3 major law firms to be partners. I walked in, I took one, I said, I'm out. They said, why? I said, parity.
Well, there you go. See, another spot. Backed into a corner, decided to write your own map and found out what's best for Zach Darrow and not what's best for everybody else. So that's definitely good for the listeners to hear that, because I know a lot of us struggle when we get into something and we're like, I know I've had some jobs at corporate America. I won't mention any companies, AT&T and stuff like that, where I wouldn't get promoted, where I felt like I was the best, but it was age or gender, things like that really, pick and choose. And it's wrong. Really, the best person for the job, white, black, green, purple, man, female, doesn't matter. Should get the job. Yeah, and that sometimes that's not what happens on all ends of the spectrum. So that's I get that, and that's really cool that you were able to do that. And so then that was very successful for you. And what happened?
Yeah. So, but the one thing that was obvious from the early part of my career, it was business law. So I kind of took a step back and said, I have to accept who I am, and who I am is going to continue to bounce around unless I embrace the fact that I want to be in business and law. So in 2007, kind of a pivotal year for me, started our own law firm, Darrow Everett, you mentioned earlier, started a real estate development investment firm called Waldorf Capital Management. Like most who never had money before, made a few mistakes. For example, building a house that I could absolutely not afford in 2007, never mind take the time of building a house. Decided to have triplets with
triplets. Hold on.
Yeah.
Look, I've got 4 kids, and they were spaced out. And dude, that's the hardest job. My wife's had a harder job than me, times 10. And you had triplets.
Yeah. So like I said, 2007 was an exciting year. My wife and I at the time, we had went into the doctor for the first ultrasound, and by the time they had invited 4 other people in the room, we knew something was up, but there wasn't like a panic in the air. So luckily it wasn't a health issue. Yeah, we were having triplets. So in the same year we started our businesses, in the same year that we started the Great Recession, we popped out 3 amazing little ones all at the same time. My son Zach and my daughters Riley and Chloe. And other than having my children, I think my best achievement in life thus far is that my ex-wife, mother of my children, remains my best friend. So what a great adjusted and amazingly smart and talented, beautiful set of triplets we had. But in university, they were in the neonatal intensive care unit and on home lockdown for the first several years. So that was a whole nother set of challenges.
So you have triplets unexpected. You build a house you can't afford. You open a business. I mean, dude, that's a lot of stuff to go through. year one.
Oh, and then the recession hit.
And the recession hit. You're right. So you lose
Yeah.
on the house, obviously, with the recession, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, I was way underwater on that, and the bigger problem was when we first started, we were a real estate finance boutique, so it was very challenging to stare down the. I was also younger than all of my colleagues, so tell them, don't worry about it. We have this. One of the first things we did, we had a TV that we had put in the office, all proudly, let the news scroll on it. We shut the TV off, and then I sat everybody down in the conference room and said, what do you know about private equity? And they said, nothing. And I said, well, guess what? No one else does either, because they're changing all of the rules on it as a response to Bear Stearns and all the problems with the Great Recession. So we're going to learn private equity. And they said, why? And I said, well, two things are sure in a recession. One, creates a lot of opportunities for a lot of smart people. And two, those smart people want to use OPM, or as you know, other people's money, because they're most concerned, most nervous during the recession, but also smart enough to know it's when great opportunities are created. And like wildfire, because our firm is based in a market, the back room is based in a market that has lower overhead than our core work development markets, such as New York, Miami, Boston. So by doing that, we took off like wildfire because our price structure was great compared to other firms doing private equity. Nobody could say they had a lot more new experience because the rules just changed with the Great Recession. And we were hungry as anything. We knew it was a fight to keep the business alive and therefore our families fed. So, thankful to my colleagues' efforts and thankful to God, but we doubled revenues year over year through the entire recession.
Another opportunity that you changed the map again when your back was against the wall, dude. That seems to be the motto here. We have guests on the show. We like to find folks, and there's several of us out there with the listeners that have this in us or have done this. And, you get to make the decision. You can only control what you can control. You can't control what the weather is. You can't control what happens in the stock market. You can't control things, but there's things you can control. How you look at life, what you're going to do, your decision today. Is it left? Is it right? Is it up? Is it down? What is your outlook today? What's your effort today? How hard you're going to work today? Those are all things that we can control. And obviously you did a great job of that. Me and Roberto, and I'm glad your kids are healthy and everything's great with them right now.
Oh, amazing. My son's been in college math since sixth grade. My daughters are both black belts in Krav Maga. I mean, I can't complain.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Well, we were just joking. Like, the water must be potent up there to have triplets. So, to break the ice a little bit there, we were like, wow, triplets? So...
You can imagine dating has been a little bit difficult since then. Oh, you have kids? Oh, great. What do you have, triplets? Oh, wait.
Yeah, they're running the other way. Shit, don't get near me, right? I get it. I don't know what it's like to date in today's world, but I can assure you, if I had to say I had triplets, they are running the other way.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's what I say early, because I don't, I know that that's going to be a shocker, so I might as well find out what the mettle of the person I'm talking to.
Oh
right
my
out of
goodness! Oh my goodness! So
sounds like a sitcom.
It does. Yeah, you put a. So, well, that's a great story. Now, you've got some other things going on. You also work with NFL Hall of Famer Ty Law. We love some of the football guys here. We've had Tavon and Sam on. We've got Barry Sanders scheduled coming up, and we've got Matt Prater coming up soon, too, so on our shows. But tell us a little bit about your relationship with Ty Law.
Yeah, Ty's great. I mean, what an amazing human being. We connected actually through the Jeffrey Osborne Foundation. It's a charity that I've been pretty heavily involved with for a number of years now, and he kind of brings together folks in the music industry, the comedians and athletes. And I met Ty, and man, what a grounded individual. And he and I just kind of hit it off from day one as just being straight up dudes. It doesn't matter that he's a Hall of Famer. Doesn't matter. What I do in my day job, it was just about being real. And we both had a passion for sneakers. So we're in the process of finishing the development of this online sneaker culture, sneaker community called My Sneaker Closet.
Dude, I'm into sneakers. Like, I'm a shoe guy. So you got to let me get the ins and buy some sneakers and stuff, dude, because I love some shoes, man. My shoe game is on point, baby. I got a good shoe game. I might have Larry Bird hair, Roberto, but damn it, I've got a great shoe game.
Yeah, does he have a signature line?
You've got a whole new level of shoes, Jason. I've seen them. The things that I might need to take a mortgage off. But Ty and I go back to some of the OG stuff too. Even like like Pony, for example. And if you're an OG on sneakers, let me ask you, do you know what Pony stands for?
I do not, but I feel like I'm an OG, so I think I'm getting a double-loaded question here.
No, listen, everybody used to, listen, anybody who came from nothing were Ponies.
People out of New York?
Pretty close, property of New York.
Well, see, I was close. I figured it had something to do with New York, you being from New York, ponies. You know, I used to wear the Fubus and the Filas and the Pumas and the, you know, when I met my wife in high school, I had, you know, Dickies on and a green shirt and a bandana hanging out of my back pocket with some green and white Pumas and my hair slicked back like I was Vatos Locos forever. So that's what I look like because that's kind of how I grew up.
Yeah, I think I probably had a pair of Pat Ewings on.
Oh, there you go.
A pair of jeans that I needed two belts to keep up. Yeah, I had a similar.
So I take it on the Biggie Pac thing. You were pro Biggie because I was Pac all day.
Oh, I hated.
Oh, that's a whole nother show. We're gonna have to talk about that because I am Pac. I mean, Roberto, which side are you on?
Yeah, I was always a death row guy.
Oh, there it is. You're outnumbered.
Well, listen, to make it even worse, remember you mentioned I'm a little older than you. So to be candid, I was even pre that, though. I mean, I was big into, first started with Run DMC,
yep.
But I was big into Public Enemy. I mean, that was kind of before that whole Pac Biggie thing. That was just, they hated everybody. But, yeah, no, that was definitely a different time. And then when the Pac and Biggie thing came out, it was kind of like when I started to dial into school, too, so I really couldn't have too many battles over it.
Well, Zach, it's a great story, and I think one of the things the listeners need to zone back in on what you brought up is success is rented, never owned. Rent is due every day. I think that's a great, great quote. I love it. I may steal it one day and give you credit, but I am telling you, like, that is exactly it. I mean, for folks out there, it is rented. You have got to bust your ass every single day. You don't stay on the top by just sitting. You stay on the top by continuing to eat and continuing to grind and continuing to hunt. And I know you show that all the time, Zach, in your efforts and in your business and how you live in life. And so it's a great quote. And I think that's something that should be shared out there big time.
No, amen. It's the gospel, Jason. You know it, and like you said, you know, when you're backed into the corner, you know, you have to make a decision for two reasons. The solution is not going to show itself by doing nothing, and secondly, if you don't act, somebody else will.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, Zach, it's been great having you on. You know, we're out of time this time. I'd love to have you on again here in the future, but I do appreciate you sharing your story and things that you've overcome and how you've built a great business and became a great father and you're best friends with your ex-wife, and you know you have a great line to live by in life. I mean, this is what it's all about, and I just love to share these stories with listeners out there where maybe it inspires just one, you know, boy or girl, man or woman to make a difference and not quit and continue to press on and change things, or like I like to say, bam, build a movement. So really exciting stuff. Thank you, Zach. We will have you on again soon, okay?
Thank you for everything, Jason. If I come back, let me MC your story because it makes mine look non-existent.
Oh,
You're
whatever.
a great man.
Hey.
Thank you for everything, and thank you for all you do for everybody that you touch, brother.
Hey, thanks, Zach. Have a blessed one. Bam! And that concludes another episode here on True Underdog. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure you subscribe at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. You can always visit TrueUnderdog.com, subscribe to all of them. Make sure you check out our newest episodes coming out on Mondays and Thursdays. True Underdog, baby. Bam!